everyone, and welcome to my podcast, Diva Devil Angel. I am so thrilled to welcome Mayor Tony of Northampton. Yay, Tony! Let's cheers to that.
Cheers.
Welcome. So I really want to thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it because we're kind of friends too. So I knew you wouldn't say no. I knew you wouldn't say no. So
even if I would, I'd still come.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. So before the podcast, we kind of talked a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked you if there's anything that you didn't want to talk about. And what did you tell me? This was the best response so far.
Okay. The University of Miami's lost to Ohio State in the 2002 Fiesta Bowl it's a very sad day for me, as is their loss to Penn State a few years earlier. So if we can stay off of that.
But we did talk about it just
we
now.
We just did.
Yeah, we just did. But we won't mention it anymore throughout the podcast.
The medication is
has helped you since 2002 or whatever
it was.
Oh my gosh, you're so funny. When I read that, I was like, oh, this is the best answer ever. I just love that. So pretty much everything is free game then. What we talk about
pretty much, yes.
Pretty much everything.
Absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So most important question of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know if you heard me mention my podcast name, Diva Devil Angel.
Sure.
Which one are you?
Well, on advice of my counsel, I refuse to answer on the grounds that may incriminate me.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll answer for you. I know you're a diva. In such a good way.
That's sad.
No, it's not sad. What is
my Catholic faith prevents me from putting that out there.
A diva in terms of your clothing, your glasses, your shoelaces, your sneakers.
When you represent a community, you need to. You can't be going to a Redner's to do any shopping anymore in your gym shorts and things like that, because you're going to meet people from the town and they're going to want to ask you questions or just throw a comment your way, and you have to look professional.
You do, absolutely.
So even before that, I don't know when I picked that up years ago, but it always felt better to look good and dress well and be sharp because so few people did it.
Absolutely.
So.
And I wish some people at Redner's would have this or fashion. I'm not dissing Redner's, but have the same concept as you. Yeah.
Sure. Support them all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, Northampton.
Yes.
Tell me about Northampton.
Well, Northampton is in the northwest corner of the county, Northampton County, right on the river, Lehigh River, across from our friends in Whitehall Township. Right now we're currently at 10,300 people, and looking to bring more in with some nicer developments throughout the town, and just building the infrastructure up right now. So.
Nice.
Yes.
So you grew up in Northampton?
Yes.
Tell me about that. What was it like growing up, and now you're the mayor? That's crazy. It's like a Netflix special.
Well, when I grew up in Northampton, it was still a big cement town.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the uptown had a Newberry's, a Coleman's, a Miller's department stores, a Lerner's, where you never had to go near Allentown. There were no malls back then, but the cement plants were still spewing out cement dust as billowing 24/7, and every porch had a broom and a dustpan on it, and you literally would send one of the kids out, me and my brother, and sweep up, and you'd get a dustpan or two full of cement every day. Yes, and we inhaled that for years.
Breathing that in.
Not that it was ever an issue back then.
Yeah.
EPA was I don't think they even formed back then, but out of all of that came, much stricter regulations, and now the plant is they can't do anything without the EPA knowing about it instantaneously.
Wow.
So it is a big difference. We did lose a lot of the core businesses, which the malls had a big
there was a mall in Northampton.
No, there wasn't, but we had a nice line of stores in the uptown area from where Sante's is now, going south. So it was always fun when they had the sidewalk sales in the summer. It was like 4 days, it closed the streets down and everything. And Northampton had a bustling business district that was very prominent around that. area of the county because there's nobody up there north of Allentown itself.
Mm-hmm.
So Whitehall was not developed yet.
Wow.
And that was still coming into its own. Two Guys from Harrison was the biggest store.
Oh, Two Guys. I remember Two Guys.
How about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
grocery stores were all mom and pops. Every other block basically had a mom and pop grocery store or a bar or both.
Mm-hmm.
And
I feel like there's still a lot of mom and pop places in Northampton. Is that right? Or
not so much.
not so much?
Not so much,
okay.
no.
Like the pharmacies, the corner
Well,
stores,
yes, the
kind of
pharmacies
stuff?
have taken over for that because they all have their cooler sections and things like that. So, but yeah, the mom and pops it wasn't profitable anymore.
Wow.
So,
Of course, the Roxy
Roxy is still there.
is so awesome. I
Yes.
love to go to the Roxy. It's an experience.
Well, it
you know?
really is.
It really is.
My favorite story, it's a single screen theater, it's Art Deco, it's pristine. The owner, Richard Wolf, does a phenomenal job running it on his own. The marquee, 700 lights, he takes care of all the neon lights himself. And whenever we go by it and the lights are on, I tell Connie to look up at it and she screams that, you tell me that every time we go by.
I can definitely hear Connie saying that. I'm actually, are we allowed to mention Connie
Absolutely.
as the first lady?
Sure, first lady, yes.
I'm actually friends with Connie.
Yes.
Tony's girlfriend. From way back, right?
Way back,
High school?
yes, yes.
High school.
Well, and then there was
a little space in between.
The 9 years. And
The
then there
non,
was-
right, but it's the reconnection. That is the
reconnection,
most
yes.
important. So.
And then, so we do have events there, and I said it's a single screen, but he does a second run theater, and they're successful there. Weddings there.
Oh, yeah, I
special
didn't know
events.
there was weddings
Sure,
there.
we just had one June 3rd.
So where do they have the wedding then? Right in
The
the
wedding's
theater?
up on the stage.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
I
everybody sits
never
down
knew
there.
that. Wow.
Yeah.
I know that at Christmas time you usually play like an older movie or
so the
whatever,
Chamber
and
of
then
Commerce has a holiday movie.
and then you bring canned goods to donate
yes,
to
for the
the
food bank,
families,
which we always support.
definitely so
Yeah.
important. I love that. I
So
love that.
my favorite story about the single screen theater goes back years. My niece was, I believe, 7 years old, and she took her friend Helen. My sister took the two of them to see a Disney movie. Well, Helen was never in anything but a multiplex, so they're sitting there, and Helen's looking around. And when he says, "Helen, what's the matter?" she goes, "Where are all the other theaters?"
Yeah, why is there only one? There's only one
She
theater.
was,
That's
and
so
that's the
That's society
history
today,
of
right?
society today.
You know, the kids don't appreciate
No, they don't.
the old time theaters,
Sure.
and I just love going there. I really do.
Well, it still has a nostalgic feel,
It
and
does.
the Art Deco is beyond compare. So we have
Yeah.
that going for us.
Yes, absolutely. That's awesome.
Yes.
So tell me how you decided to run for mayor.
Okay. Well, I was president of the Chamber of Commerce since 2001, and then in 2011 I became a councilman also. So I was a councilman for 10 years, and I decided that I thought we needed a different level of representation across the valley in that position. Because councilmen's all fine and well, you have the vote, but the mayor's really the face. And I had all those suits just sitting in the closet. Like you
All those
said,
diva
all the
suits.
diva suits.
See?
And now,
He has
you know,
diva
I'll
suits.
never look at them the same again. And so I ran. I ran as a Republican in a Democratic town, which was staunch Democrat. But I visited over 800 homes. Had the art signs, placards, and everything. I just kept pushing, and in the end, on the very last poll, I found out that I won. So it was by 200 votes, and it's been a fantastic experience. In fact, getting up and even going to breakfast the next morning, it just had a whole different feel that
I know.
I had to drive the speed limit. I had to really stop at all the stop signs.
As opposed to you not
yeah.
driving the speed limit ever.
You know, you kind of just...
Yeah, you kind of like
But
have to
now,
act accordingly
yes,
now. Yes.
and as according to state code, the mayor of the boroughs in Pennsylvania is the CEO of the police force.
Oh.
So the police force,
I didn't realize that.
yes,
Okay.
even the chief reports to me.
Get out.
So yes,
So you
So-
can, get off of tickets. So you can continue to speed then, and then have the
not a good,
not a good luck. Not a good
not
luck.
a good
No,
luck.
I get it. I get it.
But it is tempting, but
yeah.
no, it's and we do have a young police force, which I'm very proud of. Our chief is fantastic. Another Northampton graduated with my sister Wendy.
Nice.
So he's familiar with the town. He pretty much built the force himself, with the help of our former chief. But right now, again, we have 5 ex-military members on there, which brings a level of discipline which we might not have had before.
Absolutely.
So a lot of the senior force are retired or so, and the young guys coming in, they want to do a real good job for the town and make a mark in a positive way. So
do they have to live in Northampton in order to?
No, they don't. A councilman and myself does.
Okay, so you have to live there. Okay.
Yes.
So the former mayor, he was in office quite a long time.
28 years.
28 years. Wow.
Yes.
So I'm sure he was, not happy with the results of the election.
I think he was surprised.
But,
If
he
anything,
probably has to understand that,
well,
things change.
I was looking to reach out to him, and he just quietly, moved aside. And
Yeah.
So I wish him all the best. He's done a lot for Northampton through the years, but
Absolutely.
now it's a whole different direction, a whole different energy, so to speak. Social media is big. Being around town is huge for me.
So do you go around town daily? Like what's
I make it a point when I do go out to introduce myself to other people, which is why I got 1,000 mayor business cards instead of 500.
Yes.
Okay.
Here we
and
go. If anyone needs a Mayor Tony business card.
And if you flip it on the back, the QR code is there. We'll get that.
QR code.
Yes.
What is that for?
You just scan it, takes you right to my Facebook page.
That's awesome.
Which is updated regularly.
I love that.
Very
Mayor
visual.
Tony.
I am a photographer by nature, so you'll find a lot of colorful and hopefully diverse photos on there.
So tell me about you're also have a framing business.
Yes, 26 years now. My grandparents bought the building that I both live in and have the shop in back in 1946. So it was a bar and a restaurant there, and then there was a Victorian house. So a bar and a restaurant below, then there's an apartment and another house there where my grandparents lived, and now we live on the other side. In fact, my mom and dad met there because my dad was working for his brother-in-law over at what was a gas station across the street.
Okay.
And my mom was flipping burgers after high school. So my dad would go over and eat, and that's where they met.
I love that story. That's such a
now
cute
I have my
story.
frame shop there, and my grandparents have passed. Nana was 98 years and 8 months, so
wow.
She was the matriarch for years, and I'm there now. But the place, it's an older house, so it still needs a lot of work, like many houses in town do. But still,
I just love the sense of community in Northampton.
Sure.
The smaller, and I don't know. I just think it's such a cute place.
And we're building up on that. My business, all things framed. And technically I have to live up to my name, so if something comes in that's challenging, I'm like, oh geez, I can't change my name now.
Exactly.
Have to frame it.
I know.
But no, it's been good. 26 years, nothing ever came back for workmanship, so.
So you're part of that community.
Yes,
you're part of
absolutely.
like that small community.
Yep.
You have a business there. There's the
Absolutely.
mayor there.
Yeah, and it's that helped the mayorship too, between the corporate career experience I had through the years in management, infrastructure, everything like that, just pulled it all together. Then being a businessman on top of it all really helped in all aspects now. So when I get to a meeting, I've run meetings 20-some years ago. I've seen changes on top level corporations. I've seen how things move, and I work in big cities, small cities, things like that, from 10-person groups to 50-person offices and things like that. So it's been a good experience that way, pulling it all together. So it's you take it for granted going there, but when it comes to a time in a meeting or something where nobody seems to know the rules or anything, it's like, well, I've been there before, so just.
And I think your chamber experience.
Yes,
you're also
absolutely.
part of is it Lehigh Valley Chamber?
Greater Lehigh Valley Chamber, the 9th largest in the country.
So I didn't know that either.
Just had a great, let me say, repertoire of friends across the whole valley. that for 19 years as president with the Northampton Chamber, have those relationships too, where you might not see the person for 17 years, but when you see them, good example is Cassie Hilgard, who runs Arts Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she was on the chamber back when I started, back at the turn of the century in the early 2000s, and we see each other now. It's old home day.
So nice.
I'll reintroduce myself, and not that I need to.
Yeah.
But
because everyone knows Mayor Tony.
well, not necessarily. You don't take that for granted, because I wasn't Mayor Tony back then.
True.
I was just another council president back then. So,
Mm-hmm.
I always want to be polite and announce myself. Instead of embarrassing someone and having them try to guess.
Right.
Like I have to most of the time.
Right. That's another thing. Like, how are you with remembering names?
Ooh, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
Because
I can imagine.
Yeah, now more than ever. The ADD has never helped. Okay, but now it's like you'll get to a group setting where 10 people will meet you, but they're meeting one Mayor Tony. I'm meeting 10 different people.
Yeah.
And
like,
it does
hey,
get, you try.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, the Dale Carnegie training comes out, and the mnemonics or whatever you have to use. Name tags is big, and I'll try and use the name a lot to talk initially.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you don't want to get to events and be drinking a lot either. For no other reason, just name memorization is one of the top reasons not to. Okay? At the end of the night, sure, you don't have to remember anybody, but it is a point that you keep all that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely, because you are representing
Sure.
Northampton. Not that you ran around before, drinking everywhere, but I mean, you probably have to think about everything you do, pretty much.
Right.
And
you want to be a regular guy and be out and see people at a bar or restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to join them, and you want to celebrate things with them. Then again, you need to have the moderation that goes along with the responsibility of the position. I mean, it's not out there. It's just that comes from experience in other areas that you picked up along the way.
Well, I think if you are a professional, you do have to worry about what you do.
Oh, absolutely.
You work for depending, because nowadays, really, if you go to even look for a job sometimes, they're checking your social media, they're checking your Instagram and everything else. So you really got to be careful with what you do. Hasn't affected the Steeler Nation at the gin mill though, right?
Well, the people at Steeler Nation are having a lot of fun with that though. As I don't know if your viewing public knows, but I run a fan club, Steeler Nation of the Lehigh Valley, at a bar and restaurant called the Gin Mill. The owner's father, in fact, coached for Pitt when they won the national championship in '76, and they came to the area, and they had a Steeler fan club there. I took it over about 10 years ago. We changed that all around. Every time the Steelers score, we have a big plastic beer bottle where people throw donations in, and at the end of the year, we give the money to the food bank.
I love that. That's such a good idea.
Yeah, last year we raised $2,800 in a year where the offense was really pitiful. So we did well. So in the good years,
you still cheer them on.
Yeah, we do cheer them on, and so in that capacity, I am the commissioner. Okay, and when I talk to people back there, it's like, okay, am I talking to the commissioner or am I talking to the mayor?
Yeah,
who am I talking to?
They get confused. They get confused, right?
They do. And, they always say, being head of the police force, that now you really can't mess with the commissioner because he could just make a phone call and all Northampton's finest will be in here and breaking it up. But no, it's a great time. It's there for fun. Okay, it's great camaraderie there. In fact, I have friends now outside of Palmerton. Every Saturday they have a fire pit. This past weekend we had some friends up there and went up and just hung out. And it's a lot of us are family now. It really is. It's another way to do it, and don't want to lose that. And I did have to talk to our solicitor as to if I do something for them on. For the gin mill, am I the mayor in the picture or am I the commissioner in quotes? And but commissioner gets confused.
Well, it must be really nice to have all of these titles. Tony. I mean, come on.
Here's where it's a big. This is an eccentric moment here because which one? You could be the commissioner of the county, and that's you don't fool people. So I'm just going with mayor, And
Go with mayor.
put in
Mayor sounds
parentheses,
good.
you know,
Mayor
whatever.
/ commissioner.
Everybody will understand that. But
Mm-hmm.
and you know, it was so popular that I actually, with the help of Connie, I own the name Steeler Nation of the Lehigh Valley.
Get out. So you
Yeah,
have
I
like
do,
a LLC or
yes.
what is it? A
Yes.
LC? I don't know. There's so many different things. That's
Right.
awesome though.
Yeah, we were so happy with it. I was like, you know what? I don't want any hassles in the future from anything. We do rent the room, so it's a private party, and entrance is only for Steeler fans.
So
we
no
have some
Cowboy
basic
fans?
I'm
You
sorry.
wouldn't allow me in?
We do have an outhouse out back where there's a star on the door.
There's a star on the door. All right, I'll take it. I'll take it. So Tony, you're a great, outgoing, fun guy.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So we know that politics can be very cutthroat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not political to,
Sure.
you know, myself personally, but, you know, I know that it can be cutthroat. How did you handle that in terms of, you know, going through your mayoral
Okay.
campaign and, you know, maybe some negative comments that people made, you know, in support of the former mayor, or, you know, how do you handle difficult people? Because we know they're out there.
Sure. For the most part, when I ran kind of apolitically. When I got to a Republican House, it was very simple, okay, because they haven't had a really strong Republican candidate forever, from what my history told me. Somebody who was really digging in like I did and doing the visits and everything. So those were easy conversations. The Democrats were very open-minded from what I saw, because I would have never won without their contribution. I asked them to simply give me a chance. My card included a picture of me, and on the back, a chronology of all the things I was invested in time-wise across the borough. All the Chamber of Commerce, you know, the Casino Gaming Revenue Board with the county, things like that. And then I had over 70 businesses which supported me, so those were all there. So it gave some gravity to the fact that I was running this hard. And when the results came out, I was flattered and just humbled by it all, because the people are giving me a chance. So the first thing I needed to do was just, when I encountered anyone, it was just listen, is how you dealt with it. And most people just want to be heard. They have a complaint or a gripe, but most of all, they're never heard. Okay, and then the big thing is just to follow up, even if you don't have the answer they want.
Right.
At least they were heard, and you know, look in with more. There's some people who still they want everything done yesterday, and things take a lot of time with the laws, and most of the time it's not the borough's fault that it's taking so long. You have to do a PPL with PennDOT, with UGI. They're on their own time schedules. I mean, they're a whole different galaxy to themselves, and they just don't care what you want to have done, no matter what.
Yeah.
The nice thing about being mayor, though, is somebody will always take my call, which I didn't have that as councilman.
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
so as mayor,
it's kind of an advantage.
It is, and I'll tell you what, it's still taking me a little while to get used to that.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you don't want to get a big head about it.
No, but I mean,
and I'm the kind of guy that I just want this done.
Absolutely.
And I know how to get it done, and you're just in my way now. Okay, but when you get to the right person and just tell them, okay, are we on the schedule? Are you moving us up that way? Plus, all the great relationships I made with the Greater Lehigh Valley Chamber, I already started with 500 plus phone numbers in my directory to call people who are in positions of power. A good friend of mine from a PPL is a regional director of public affairs, and we've been friends for, almost the whole time I was in the chamber, and then some. We see each other at events, and you know, it's a hug and a smooch every time I see her, and you know, a great lady, and she'll take my call and tell me we can do this, we can't do this, it's on the books, but you know, I get an answer. And that's what people want, especially from authority.
Right.
They want it from authority.
Yeah, absolutely. So, 800 homes?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was, my back was a little stiff at the end of the day.
Anybody just shut the door in your face?
No.
Really?
Yeah, nobody ever did.
That's refreshing,
Yeah.
for sure. You know, because like some people just,
No, they.
you know, don't want to be bothered with
They
it,
don't.
or you know.
Right.
But they at least took the time to listen to you as well.
Sure.
So that's good for sure.
And it was it's much different running for mayor because you have to run the whole town. As a councilman, you only run for your ward. So that was just a couple blocks north and south of where I lived. So you're looking at maybe in a ward 2,500 people versus 10,000 for the whole town.
So you know every street.
Getting there, okay? There's a lot of nooks and crannies in Northampton.
Yeah.
But still, yes.
Yeah.
Pretty familiar with that from the years.
It's probably a lot, you know. Do you have duties every day as the mayor, or are there some days where, you know,
Okay.
you can sit at home and watch Netflix or do whatever? Like, do you always have something? Do you always have something to do?
Well, you know, that's the difference between, you know, being a mayor and being, I'll say, a great mayor or a good mayor. It's the initiative you put into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only required to manage the police force. Everything else is just my own initiative.
Okay.
Okay? There's no extra salary or anything for it. It's just what I want to do, and the first project I did was Hometown Heroes.
I loved that.
Well,
I was
thank
going to
you.
bring that up, actually. If you can explain to everybody what you did,
Well,
because I just thought that was amazing.
Sure. The Hometown Heroes banners are the flags that hang from the light poles commemorating the soldiers throughout the wars, sponsored by the families for the most part. We're close to 300 banners now, maybe over 300 at this point. And what the family does is they simply bring in a picture with the application and the fee. I take care of everything. I scan the photo, then I'll touch it up, enhance it as best I can, and get my file, line it up with the Excel sheet, send it to Riley's or Holiday Decor, who's doing it right now, and they get it back to me, and then we get the crew together. So yes,
that's definitely a hometown.
Oh, it's very emotional for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. To see their loved one. You
Yeah,
know?
I saved a lot of the texts I've received. People actually cried when they've seen them, and yeah.
I love that. That's such a great idea.
Yeah, and outside of getting them up, it's a lot of people have an idea where they'd like to hang them, but you know, with so many banners, you know, we can't accommodate everyone. But we try our best.
Like on a certain street, maybe
yes,
if
a certain
they lived
pole
on that
by
street
the house or whatever.
Oh my goodness, that's
and it was
so
a first
awesome.
come first served, and we're on our 4th wave now, looking for the 5th coming up. So we'll have over 300.
That is awesome. That is
thank
really. Did you think of that yourself? I mean,
you know, I had the idea a while ago. I've seen it done, and I offered it to the Chamber of Commerce to do, and nobody stepped up. I brought it to Borough Council, and then I decided, you know, I'm just going to do this. Okay,
I think it's so
and
important.
yeah, I was at a Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs meeting last year, and I met the crew from Holiday Decor in Bethlehem, and they had one of them, like, we're doing this now. I know you guys were doing this, and went back and just got it started immediately, and just taken off from there. Everyone gets the pictures back, and they do a wonderful job.
It's so nice.
It's really
so
such a great project. I didn't want to have a committee or anything. I just wanted to do it so I knew it would get done to my specifications.
So speaking
being a
of that,
photographer, being a diva. So.
Diva photographer. So speaking of that, how do you delegate? Because I know, for me, I like to be in control of situations, you know, not that no one else can do it right, but just so that I'm in control, knowing I'm doing it, knowing it's going to get done.
Sure.
So how does that work for you?
For me, it's first I have to decide if I want to delegate it.
Okay.
Okay. If it's something that needs to be done right the first time, no time for explanations, no time to fix it, I will just handle it myself and choose to do the projects that I know I can handle time-wise and resource-wise. Okay? And then if I do delegate, of course you do it nicely. You have to be empathetic with the person you're asking to delegate it to. Do they have the time for it? Do they have the knowledge?
Right.
Is there a learning curve for them that is going to possibly hurt the project if they're not up to it? Because people are coming to you for the answer.
Right.
So when I did this project, I realized that, okay, I have the experience here, 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 and here, until I give somebody else that.
I'm sorry, it's my refrigerator. It's, you know,
All right.
the negatives of doing this at home.
Okay,
But
so,
anyway.
okay, so if I'm going to delegate, I look at what resources I have personally, the time, the experience here. And here, then I go back and say, well, look, a committee is only going to hold me up. Okay, the old adage, if the Israelites had a committee, Moses would still be in the desert. So
That's funny. Yes,
that's how
that's true, though.
I look at some
It
things
is
that
true.
way. Sure.
Because, you know, even though if you delegate to certain people, they might not be as motivated or
Absolutely.
inspired
Or
by you, you know,
as professional about it as type A, which,
Yes.
you know, I need a type A for this project.
Yeah.
And, you know, where I thought we'd have a big committee, the only committee I pulled together is the committee for proofreading. Okay, because we have 5 people who, when we get the banners back, they come on sheets for us to proofread everything compared to the application, and then we send them around, everybody signs the sheet that they did look at,
That's
and
smart.
then it goes through.
Because you
And
can,
so,
you know.
I don't even look at that myself, because that's one thing, and then when it's all done, then I'll take a look at it.
Right.
But we've been very successful there, and then
Get
of
your
course,
mayor stamp out.
Get the
Mayor
stamp
tell me to
out.
approve this.
And then call Public Works, see when the bucket truck's available, get our flying crew to get up there and put them on the poles. And, you know, another step before then is honoring as many requests as possible for location. So that's another part of the spreadsheet which I put together, and it's, you know, a big treasure map and, you know, driving around town. And,
for sure.
yeah, it's been. That's among one of just a few of the projects I have going.
Yeah. Like this summer, do you have, isn't it the carnival? I don't want to call it a carnival if
Well,
it's
we
not.
have community days, but that's the
Community
Exchange
days,
Club.
yes. Oh, okay, so
one
that.
thing we're doing a canal park, a riverfront garden, down,
Nice.
down by one of the old canal locks. So we're breaking ground on that next week.
Okay. Is it a community project where people
It's
come
going to be,
and-
yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I like that.
And then we started a monarch butterfly garden. One of our good reverends, who was a chaplain for years, Reverend Jerry Mraz, donated money in memory of his granddaughter and wife.
Oh.
And as, I don't know if you know, but the monarch butterfly is becoming extinct.
Okay, no, I
So,
did not know that.
Across the country, they're starting monarch butterfly way stations like this, which are basically gardens about as big as this room that will have the plants and the foliage to both feed and nourish the
That's so
butterflies.
Awesome.
And they're across the country, and the butterflies just find them as they go. So
That's awesome.
it's amazing when it happens. So we want to spot them all along our canal path, which is right along the Lehigh River. So that's 1.4 miles, and that's goes with my other project, which is to make our 1.4 miles of the Delaware Rail Trail the most picturesque 1.4 miles of the 165 miles they have.
I love that.
Yeah, so I'm good friends
That is
with.
such an awesome idea, Tony.
Well, thank you.
It really is.
So I've had all the cognoscenti of the B&L Trail up. I'm good friends with the director there and everything, and all the people that do have something to do with the trail, from the environmental side right up to the development side. And it's been a lot of fun there too.
That is awesome.
Sure.
So all of your projects are beneficial to the community, which
Well,
I
thank you.
really, really like. They're not just political things.
Right. Oh, no, not at all.
They're definitely beneficial
Well,
and inspiring to the community.
On a borough level, things are pretty apolitical. There's no division on borough council for Republican, Democrat, or other. I must say, council votes for the best in Northampton. Now, when you get to county council, that's much more political. Okay, you really have the Democrat, Republican sides there. You don't have that on borough council, and that's one thing too. When I was running for mayor, that I want to let people know that on this level, there's no R and D. There's just
I like
Northampton.
that. I
Yeah.
like that. It's just Northampton.
It's just Northampton.
Yeah.
So you have that, and
Because when it comes down to it, that's what it
that's
is.
all it is.
It doesn't matter if
Yes.
you're Republican and Democrat. Like in my eyes, at least, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's community, it's unity, everybody
Very well
coming
put.
together.
Sure.
You know, and
Sure.
working for a beneficial cause and making your community better.
Sure.
You know, that's what I love about Northampton. You know, I think smaller communities, it's easier to do that than, you know, the larger cities or whatever. But no, you're definitely doing a good thing.
Now, if you ride bike, we are having our first annual Mayor's Bike Run, which will go from our Canal Park up to the Truckers Bridge. If you want to walk the 5 miles, you're fine there. Or you can sit back.
How about drive?
You'd be good. You'd be great at staying back and rolling the hot dogs on the
There
grill.
you go. I can do that. Well, I'll try, but I will definitely help you if you need help.
I will certainly have you come up.
Yeah, I would definitely love that. I love to support people like that.
Probably the third Sunday in September. We're going to pick a nice fall day. We have 5 of our policemen on bikes now, which is a whole new initiative too that our chief brought up. So we have a bike patrol, which is going to lead the whole pack. And I'm just going to be there for the ceremony and to ride along with them.
Count me in. I will help.
Okay.
I'll get some of my friends to come.
I am getting all the politicos and all the legislators, all the DNL trail people to come out and ride with us. I've put out invitations already, and we're shoring that up. It's going to be just a fun ride. Okay, of course, they're building a new bridge to cement, and so we're going to have to coordinate with the Whitehall Police, which...
And you don't think of any of that. Well, I wouldn't think of any of that, but the coordination of everything. How do you handle anxiety? Like, you know, I'm sure you have some. I mean, you may not, but like just anxiety from making sure everything is, you know, and you're doing the right thing, or you're leading the people in the right way. Like, how do you handle that?
You know what? In that vein, that's actually fun for me. I'm always anxious because I want it to be perfect. You know, it goes back to the framing. Okay? Everything has to be perfect. It doesn't go out the door. Okay, in this case, you know, with the experience I've had with corporate and through the partnerships and the individual proprietorship that I have, each level has some anxiety, and it all goes towards the final product going out the door. Okay, so once that's attained and I know everything's in place, then it gets to be fun. And usually it's not till the event starts or, you know, and that's been something that I've always looked forward to doing, is just building up the plan and then bullet pointing everything where it goes, when it should go, where it should go. And just having fun with it and getting the people to have fun with it also. Now I know from what I've talking to the officers, they're pretty excited about this. Okay, and we have a DARE officer who is the quintessential Pied Piper for these kids. Officer Manny Torres is our poster boy, and it's funny when I want to get pictures of the police on my Facebook page, they're like, no, we let Manny do it. Okay, and he's such like a gregarious guy. And you know, when I came in, I said, I want that in writing, and the guy's like, oh no, Don, we will sign anything. Okay, and Manny's just like.
Oh, that's good that you have him to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
That makes their job fun too, you know, because they don't have the best job when it comes to, you know, being a policeman. That's hard work.
But anywhere he goes, communities, he rides up on the bike, the kids just run to him. So once he gets rolling with the bike run, you know, I thought maybe 100 or 2 people. Oh my gosh, I have no sky's the limit if he starts getting into the schools and everything, which he will.
Yeah.
So we wanted to
getting into the schools would be good, for sure.
Sure. Right up to the Tricolours Bridge, which there's a trailhead there. So if the kids only want to go one way, the parents can pick them up there. Bring them back to the park where we're going to have hot dogs and the birch beer.
I'm going to be rolling the hot dogs.
You can be rolling hot dogs.
Yeah.
And then we're looking, you know, we'll get some sponsorship for T-shirts or something, or, you know, whatever we can do. But we want to make that an annual event. And then just find more crazy stuff that we can do to build the town.
That's so great. That's so great. I have to mention your clothing too.
Yes.
On rental, or do you actually?
Well, this is actually rec center. I have to get this back.
You have to get this back.
Yeah,
it's on rental.
So told him, you know.
I would have worn orange if I would have. We should have coordinated, but that's
okay. So I should have worn red, white, and blue also for, you know, America. And you can wear next time if we're doing a part 2. I know you have me contracted for 3 of these. Okay. So that was very nice of you.
Sure,
I really appreciate that. I know you are great at negotiating the fee for this and everything, and really,
it's totally free. He's doing it for free. He's my friend, right?
Really?
Right?
Well, absolutely.
Oh
However I can help you along, but the social media part's been really
I noticed there's a
helpful,
lot of
too.
social media surrounding,
And
Northampton.
I've also been blessed with going back to another relationship I had with Kelly Luderschmidt from Northampton Press, who has been a great friend for years. When I became mayor, I asked if I could do an article in the Northampton Press, which is like the morning call of Northampton.
Okay.
Okay,
They still have
great
that?
circula-
They
oh my
still
gosh.
circulate it? And
Oh.
it's not just online or?
No,
Wow.
it's home delivered and.
I like that.
Oh, it's great.
Remember the paper boys back in the day?
I was one of them. That was my first
Oh
job.
my gosh.
5 o'clock every morning.
5 o'clock. In the morning, but then we used to have like an evening edition. Do you
Chronicle.
remember that?
Yes.
It was like the Eastern Express
In
because
the
I grew
Bethlehem
up there.
Globe.
Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I was one of those guys.
Kids with like, with their bikes and
Oh.
throwing the paper on. We're really showing our age here, Tony,
Oh
but
my
that's
gosh.
okay.
Yeah.
Because those were the good old days.
Those were the good old days.
They really were. They
And
really
you
were.
talk about work ethic. I don't know, where, but for all the years I was paper boy for 3 years, I believe. Never missed a day. My dad, he would have never known where to find the paper if he had his. But we just always just rose to the
Why is
occasion.
it so different now?
Because our parents held us responsible. My dad was not getting up at 5 o'clock to drive me around.
Right.
Okay.
We just did it.
I had 64 newspapers within a 2-block area. Okay. I was Sunday, 5 days a year we had off for 5 holidays. But the paper ran every other day.
Mm-hmm.
And my biggest surprise, not knowing how seasons work back then in junior high school, you start in the summertime, it's nice and bright out at 5 in the morning. Then all of a sudden, come September, October, it's dark out now.
It's
Okay.
freezing, you're on a bike. Yeah.
So that was.
But you know what? We didn't complain. Not that I was a paperboy girl, whatever. But we didn't complain.
No,
I just
we
feel like
did
there's
it.
so much,
And we had to
not to
collect
sound,
everything.
old,
Yeah.
but there's just a lot of complaining these days, and it's sad.
It is.
It is sad that some kids, not all, just don't have that work ethic, and that pride in their community.
Sure.
And I feel like you definitely are bringing pride back to
Well, thank you.
Northampton. And I feel
Thank
like
you.
Northampton is definitely lucky to have you.
Well, thank you very much.
And I'm
So
very
gonna
lucky
keep
to have
moving
you as
forward.
my friend,
well,
too.
Same here. I really appreciate it.
Well, I really appreciate it. Anything else you want to talk about? Any events coming up this summer? Except
We have community
Community
days.
days, and when is
coming up.
that exactly?
That will be in July.
Okay.
Okay. And it'll be on my
I'm going to
Facebook
share
page.
your Facebook page with
Sure.
everyone when we
Mayor
post the
Tony
video.
at Mayor Tony Northampton, PA is the Facebook page, and Mayor Tony at rcn.com
Yes.
is the
Mayor Tony. I love
email
this.
address to reach me at.
Did you design this?
Yes.
With the black and orange.
Yes.
I love it. I love it, Tony. It's great. And it's so,
Goes with the
I'm
shirt
so
I
proud
bought.
of you. the rental shirt from
Yes.
the rec center. I'm just so proud of you to see that on a card. And
Well,
you
thank
deserve
you.
it.
Well,
You
thank
really
very
do
much.
deserve it.
It's been fun. It's been great to serve Northampton. Back at the turn of the century, I wrote the Images of America Northampton book with the
I didn't know
sepia
that.
tone.
I did not know that.
This is just an interview full of surprises.
Oh my
isn't
gosh,
it?
I did not know that. Now tell us a little bit about that. What book? Because I want to write a book one day.
Okay.
So
Well, this
tell us
is
about that.
this is the books that you see in the stores with the brownish tinted cover. There's one for Hess's, for a lot of Easton has one, Allentown has a few, things like that. And it's mainly just photographs through the years. Well, you put it together as you want to, but they give you, the formulation how to do it. And, I have a chapter on the cement industry, chapter on, the old town, chapter on, the turn of the start of the town itself. It was 3 different areas, became one. So things like that. And it was a joy to work with people, with the Historic Society. People just turning in photographs. And that was one where a committee was a great idea. Okay, because people went out into all the
But there's so
different
many
nooks and
historians
crannies.
and
Absolutely.
in towns
Yes.
and everything that they just know the history
Yes.
of the town and the
Our
city.
chief historian, Mr. Ed Panny, was our proofreader, so
That's
it was
awesome.
great to have him
I'm
there
gonna
at the
also
Historic
mention
Society.
your book. Can we get it anywhere? I mean,
Well, I was
is
going to
it-
bring it for the next podcast.
Oh, the next
So,
podcast we'll talk about your book.
Talk about the
I
book.
would love that. I would love
Yes.
that. So, community days. Do you think I know you're not
I know.
kidding. You're coming back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So community days, what else in the summer? When's the bike thing? Do we know?
Bike thing will probably be the third week of September.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Delaware,
That will be the bike run.
Okay.
And the DNL Rail Trail.
No, I mean the planting and doing all that.
Oh, the planting's going to be going on
start?
starting probably the week after this.
Okay.
Because we had to take care of the garden. We have to work that in between all the other public works tasks that they have to do also. There's a lot of grass to mow in Northampton with all our parks. So, and then with the banners coming up, I'm going to need 3 guys for at least 3 days for that, or 2 days.
So do you lay in bed at night thinking, oh my gosh.
Well, that's one of the things, that's where the anxiety is.
Yeah.
Because you know what, you're on a timeline and you don't want to disappoint people. And you realize you're using other people's time also. And that means a lot to me.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't like to be late. You know, I think
I
about
know
being
that
early.
about you.
Yes. And
I'm the opposite, but
but you know, people's time is valuable to me, and if I'm going to use their time, I want to make sure that I'm not going to have any mistakes along the way that are going to hold anything up. Okay.
So 4 years, I should probably know this.
Yes, I'm a year and a half in.
Okay. Do you have to run again in 4 years? I mean,
Yes.
See, I'm not political at all, but I feel like you shouldn't have to. I feel like you should just keep going.
Well, judges have that. After 10 years, you just kind of throwing that out there. So
nobody's going to run against you anyway.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Well, I want to make it that whoever is thinking of running thinks very hard about it. That, you know,
a lot of work.
Why? Yeah.
A lot of work.
And I don't want to give anyone a reason to vote against me with the projects being done. It's like, why would you not vote for me because of the history and the
you're going to show
the line
after
of projects?
Yeah, after that 4th year, you know, you're going to see all of the stuff. I mean, this is a year and a half in, and you're already doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
So again, Northampton is definitely lucky.
Well, thank you very much.
And I'm
Appreciate
lucky to
that.
have you too. So.
You too, dear.
You know I love you.
You too. I love you too, Kelly.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much, Tony, for coming. I
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed it, and I will have you back. I promise. You know, we'll talk about your contract. We'll talk about your contract
talk
for
about
sure.
contract and my lawyer's advice.
Yes, have your lawyer get in touch with mine. So anyway, thank you so much again, Tony, for coming, and thank you everyone for watching. And we're going to put Tony's information of the upcoming Northampton events and also your book out there on the Facebook page so that everyone can see it and view it. So thanks again, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.